without further ado, I think we are ready for our first candidate, Beans app. Let me now go back to the app and get Jaap up to speak. All right. Jaap, feel free to take it away. Yeah, and you have the remote all set up, right?
Yes, I do. Hello, guys. I'm Jaap. I'm one of the co-founders of the Beans app. And yeah, I'm here today to tell you guys a little bit more about what Beans does and what we had in mind for this community fund round. And let us know what you guys think of it. So let's without further ado, maybe get into it. We don't have too much time. What is Beans? Beans is a non-custodial wallet built on Stellar. It's a global peer-to-peer payment system, in which we try to abstract away as much crypto-related terminology as possible. So it's understandable for even the elderly people. So they also have a right to make use of these amazing technologies. Why is it?
Next one. Other one.
Yeah, I'll press next. Okay. What can you do with Beans? With Beans, you can send money anywhere, like near instant, easily, and with 0 fees. Then we have some other features as well, like you can request some money already from people, and you can share that request via WhatsApp, or you can do it via a QR code. You can also save some money in our app. So you can save in, for example, dollars or even Bitcoin, Ethereum, earn some interest on it. Then you can also have multiple balances. So you can have, like, for example, Argentinian balance or a USD balance at the same time. You can convert those currencies just in our app in a real easy way. We have like a login and a logout feature, which doesn't require any knowledge of any private keys or anything like that. So it's a bit more familiar for like traditional people that are used in different ways of logging in or registering any account without having to know, oh, I got a private key, I need to write it down somewhere. So you can just log in with email, phone, secondary email, or PIN. It's up to you what you want. And this gives us some consumer grade usability, so it's easy to understand for almost everybody. And how do you get some money into Beans and out of Beans? For that we have some anchors in Brazil, Europe, Argentina, soon also Colombia. And we also have like a integration with MoneyGram, which gives us like access globally in over 200 countries to withdraw cash. And they have like 300,000 or over 300,000 locations. So really happy with that partnership already. So it gives us pretty much global access already with our Beans app. So then I have like a video, if you can maybe start that one, Anke, in which we demonstrate some of the features that I've just talked about. So the first feature that we will see here in the demo is like how we send money. You just press send in the bottom bar. You can then search for an account or use an existing contact. You put in a message. You say the amount. It recognizes that you have like a certain balance and the other person prefers to receive it in another balance. So it will automatically convert it for you. And it just takes a couple of seconds and then the other person receives their money already. And then you can open the balance and you will see that it will pop up with like a new transaction that has been done. And then I can show a bit about, I think it's the deposit. So for the deposit, you can, for example, open a balance, say, okay, I want to deposit some ARS. It gives you the options for ARS. So in this case, you see Enclap, but also MoneyGram, because MoneyGram is globally available. It will just show you some information, and after this, it will normally open like the SEP24 web view, but that will take a bit much time, so we don't show it for now in the demo. And here you see some saving balances. So you see that we had savings in dollars, Bitcoin, lumens. If you open such balance, you can press a convert button. And then as you can see, we can convert some money to Bitcoin. You can also choose from which balance do you want to convert anything to Bitcoin. It all makes it pretty easy. And you just say like, 50 ARS. It automatically calculates what the other person receives. And then you can do it a conversion. Then we're going into the withdrawal, if I'm correct. And this just shows you some options as well. You can, for example, select bank transfer, which has multiple options, and then you will see all the options in here. And yeah, that's basically it. It also opens like another web view, but yeah, to save some time, we will also not show that part. So yeah, there was a bit of a demo how like the app currently works, and yeah, let's get into what we put into the community fund. The slide doesn't go to the next page.
Go on again. One more.
No, yeah, this one. So yeah, what is in our community fund? So we wanted to add some feature to send like to a phone number, and then yeah, that person can just create an account and automatically receive the funds. So it's like a real easy invite, and people receive the funds that you want to send them. We have a merchant checkout in the planning, so that people can just create a QR code through our API, and that you can just yeah, do a payout, or people can pay you with like our Beans app. And yeah, we also have wanted to add like in-app deposits and withdrawals, because currently we use Step24, opens a web view with like the whole visuals of like the anchor. It's a bit different. So to get some more trust from our users, we want to do everything within our app and then still be able to do a deposit or a withdrawal. It will create a lot more trust, I think, for our customers that are looking into depositing and withdrawing with like the Beans app. Also, we introducing some research for Soroban. So our first use case we wanted to take a look at was recurring payments. It also just makes the app have like better user experience. So yeah, that's our first step to Soroban, and it introduces some research and also some planning, like, oh, how can we actually implement like the whole recurring payments solution. So yeah, and that's basically what we plans to do for this community fund round. I don't know if you guys have any questions.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for presenting. We actually have quite a bit of questions. It seems like people are really liking the demo and in your presentation. Morgan has a question. How do you solve the non-custodial and account recovery equation?
We already solved it with like a Sub30 solution. So that's not something we plan on doing this community fund. Or am I misunderstanding the question, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, maybe like just explain a little bit.
Yeah. So we have like a Sub30 implementation already. So we host one of our own servers, and we have like a public node that's another party that hosts one Sub30 server as well for us. And then we can, when we register, we also register the user account with both of these servers. So one on our end and one on the public node end. And then yeah, you have like different options. So for example, with our server, we have like a email and a phone number. So you have to complete one of those two with us, and then you have like a PIN code and a secondary email with the public node party, and you also have to complete one of those, and then you get like some signatures in which they combine, have enough power to generate like a new private key for you. We store it on the device, and that's it. So that's already something that's in place. So
Great. Awesome. Yeah. So next question from Matthias. Going over your project, I did see a dependency on .NET Tech. Can you explain this a bit further?
on .NET, let me see which. Yeah, like the .NET. Oh, yes. No, I understand what you mean. Yeah. No, our backend is built in .NET. So yeah, we were also looking yeah, for some solutions in which we might create like a worker on the backend, in which we might be able or must be able to interact with some Soroban contracts, in which we can say like, okay, every day or so we can maybe call a certain function on a certain contract to initiate some action from a contract. Comes forward to some Stellar people that I spoke, I think, in Paris back in the day, to have a little bit of a global idea how like the things with Soroban work into a bit more detail. And yeah, they said like, there's no way of automatically, putting a timer and say like, okay, like you do this now, and then I want you to
Yep, are you still here or did we lose you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. Awesome.
Okay, something dropped. So yeah, it's basically has to do with the fact that you can't schedule any further actions. So if somebody would execute an action in a smart contract, and then you want to have a follow-up
Are you
action.
still there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I think you might have had a delay of sorts.
Okay,
Great.
wait.
Well, why don't we yeah, I mean there are actually some more questions and while you kind of get the setup fixed, we have like Kilo here, like says Beans is awesome. We use it since the beginning. Great project and team. And you're a C nice. There are still some questions, Job, in the chat. So if you want to answer them there, then we can go on to our next contestant. Best metaverse. Let's get it going. I think.
Hello, everyone. You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. Okay, so we need to set up the slides, right? Just see. Okay. So I'll just press on next slide and it will get me there. Okay. So I don't see, unfortunately, on which slide I am. There it is. All right. Okay, perfect. So, hello everyone. My name is Stan, and I'm the founder of BES Metaverse. Just in short, we're a platform for immersive and customizable virtual experiences. And I think it's very important to note that BES actually means Black Energy Source, which is the planet in our metaverse. Okay. So, what is BES Metaverse? So we're basically a multi-chain. By this, we mean that basically we introduce some new things into this market, which is just starting to evolve. We are built on Stellar. So basically, since day one, since I started the project, I was focused on Stellar, and I'll get into why we chose actually Stellar. However, we are looking into expanding into other chains. We find this very important and crucial, so we can, get more people into the Stellar ecosystem, and also to introduce what we can actually do with Stellar. The vision is to create, of course, an inclusive metaverse, and this is where people can basically interact freely. They can create and monetize their digital assets. And we're focusing on user ownership. By this, what we mean is that we basically, when you have a land or you have an entire planet, you're basically the owner of it, and then you can monetize it. You can build and host your games or events or experiences. We're also focused on corporations and different businesses so they can work together in one virtual space. We really believe in creativity, and we support creative people. And basically, I'm going to change now the next slide. Okay. So why to choose BES Metaverse? So basically, the first part of the whole problem in the metaverse is that if there is a metaverse, because metaverse is nothing new, but it has been for quite some time. And unfortunately, there is so many of these companies that are exerting way too much control over the user experience and content and in general. The other part, which is into the Web3 space, it's a very big problem, is the microtransactions. By this, what we mean is that as we have our metaverse, basically when people want to enter into an event or to go somewhere and to join some other events and lands and to see what's happening on different places, they have to pay gas. which is quite a problem for some of the people. The solution is that basically we are giving all the tools, everything that is needed so they can organize, the communities can organize their space, and then they can host different events by not stopping them to do anything. And why the other solution is that we're utilizing Stellar and Soroban, which is super efficient and reliable network. And especially now that the smart contracts are coming, this will entirely change the game for us and in general for everyone. So as I said, the most important is the monetization capabilities that we will allow to everyone. The low transaction fees are fantastic for everyone, and the efficiency because the network is reliable and fast, which is great for metaverse. Okay, next slide.
We're coming up on time, by the way. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to finish here. Yeah. So what we're going to build in the next months. So first of all, we already built metaverse environments on our website, which are directly available for everyone. We will introduce NFT collections. As we have 100 planets, these are over 100,000 assets just in avatars and 100,000 assets just in lands. So this will give us a revenue which we can make money out of it, so we can continue building. And the other thing is an NFT marketplace, which is very important for us because of all of these assets, so we can put them together. And we also build an NFT indexer, which was not part of our submission, but we decided to build it after all. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is a quick video. I will not go. So basically, this is our site for minting of lands. If you see, we can connect with the wallet. We can choose also the planets. Then you can see that you basically spin around the planet. You can see where the lands, and then you can see, of course, where is the token ID and all the statuses. People are basically coming here, they can mint, they can choose the planet they want to mint on. And yes, so basically we support now Stellar. We're looking, as I mentioned, to be a multi-chain platform. So we basically will add more networks on the next stage. And yeah, so here, this is what we've built already. This was our proof intent submission. Okay, the next slide. Okay, as I mentioned, everyone is welcome to come on our homepage. There you can just swipe down and there is a play button. You can enter without login, without wallet. Okay, next slide.
Yeah. Oh, I think we're on time. Is that all right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah. So basically, the most important now over the next stage is to enable users to mint and trade their NFTs, including staking mechanism, where we will utilize the smart contracts. We will enable seamless navigation of virtual worlds, which means that the planets, you can rotate them, you can see where you want, you can log in and go inside the metaverse. They can design their space. And very important for us is to expand our team and growing our community. Okay, and the next slide.
Yeah, I think we're on time.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do one question. How does that sound?
Yes, please. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. Let me look back. Let's see. Morgan asks, what is your favorite Soroban feature that you're leveraging to build the best metaverse?
Well, the most important for us will be, as I mentioned, when people are buying planets, they are all organizations or businesses which have existing communities, and then we, with the owner of the planet, we sell lands and avatars. which he receives 20% from all the transactions that are happening of the sales and all of this. So basically, we will use the smart contract so we can, when we sell lands, so the transaction can go directly to the owner in a separate wallet, and then he can use already to further develop his virtual environment.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for presenting. This looks super interesting. So Rusnaka, there's actually some questions in the chat if you want to kind of like afterwards check them out. So people, remember meeting you, Meridian 2022. So some nice questions about what you're building. So I highly recommend go in there, and then we're actually on time. These things go super fast. So actually,
Yeah, I wasn't expecting.
yeah.
So I want to thank everyone for listening to us, and I'm going to answer everyone, and I'm always open and available for any questions, so shoot anything to me.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much for presenting. Let me see if I can get the next team on the stage. I have to like dig into here. If you want to, I think it's Elio DAO. So if you want to, request to speak. Perfect. I got it. I invited you, and I also will invite. I'll change this to the next slide. Perfect. All right. Are you ready, Christian?
Hello, everyone. Yes.
Hi, everyone. Can you
Christian,
hear?
are you there as well?
Yes. Hello. Hello.
Yes, we can hear.
Okay. Awesome. Perfect. I don't know why my camera is not working. Let me try to fix this for 1 second. Let's just.
It's the other button.
No.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Great.
Hi,
Okay,
everyone.
Christian, get going.
Yeah. So hi. So we're from ElioDAO. In the call, it's like Christian and Christian, like me, Christian, and the other Christian. So a bit of background. We first built on Stellar in 2017. So this is a really beautiful comeback. We were like Christian, we were the co-founders of DStock. Some of you know it or remember it. And yeah, we're excited to build again something new on Stellar, this time with smart contracts. Maybe just very quickly how our idea came about, because I think it explains very well what we're actually trying to achieve and what we try to contribute to the ecosystem. Essentially, like we've been consulting afterwards a lot of startups and projects in the Web3 space, because we're like really early at the party and had a lot of knowledge that we wanted to share. And one of the questions that always came up very soon, that the startup founders asked us very soon, was like, hey, like what kind of blockchain should we get started? And at the same time, they were like, hey, how could we set up our company? How could we kind of like, we want to make it decentralized, but we don't really go about it. We like just really, really early, like, how to get started. And we felt like that this is one of the like most important kind of like questions that at the beginning, like any kind of Web3 founder should ask themselves is like, like, how do I want to set up my organization? This applies to startups, but also to just projects, organizations, everyone that kind of believes in like the Web3 like logic should think about how they actually want to structure the organization. So what we're trying to build with ElioDAO was a no-code solution that allows you to build up your own DAO within seconds, just like within minutes, just in a click-through solution. And the idea behind that is to kind of like have like almost no barrier for anyone to kind of like this set up their own like startup, decentralized organization, any kind of form, like non-profit organization, NGO, whatever they want to do, without having to be able to code and without wasting further time, just getting started. And the idea of that behind is of course that like, making such a low barrier that like a lot of new people, newcomers, but also people that already exist in a community, like feel incentivized to kind of go and use Stellar just because it's like easy, it's there, you can use it straight away. You don't have to spend much resources in building up your decentralized organization. So yeah, just to kind of like very quickly brief sum it up before I give it over to CHP, who will talk more about the technical side of things. So ElioDAO, so we're not a DAO, we are like a no-code solution to set up your DAO. That's really important to kind of like keep in mind. Many people always think we're a DAO. So we want to fetch the startups exactly where they start at the beginning of their journey, where they make the decision on which kind of chain to launch. It's also built in a way that it's an extendable ecosystem for developers. They can customize and innovate on top of the Soroban platform. And we hope that it will become a key building block for the Stellar ecosystem infrastructure, as it will be hopefully the part where, like, the organizational part of all startup organizations that build on top of Stellar will be using. That's at least our hope.
Okay.
Over to CHP with some of the technical insight.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't leave me with too much time, so I'm rushing a bit through the next few slides to come to my main point. So yes, we're building a no-code solution. So the basic idea is that we're not only building a protocol, we're building a backend and the front end on top that will host a decentralized application where you really can just click through and create a DAO, issue a token, set it up to a council, set up your governance mechanisms, and have a full life cycle for voting and proposals. But there's a bit more to it. So that's important to us on the technical side. So the first important part is that everything that we're doing here is open source. So the entire protocol is open source, the backend is open source, the front end is open source. We've already created the full wireframe flows and the designs, and you're welcome to look them up and give us feedback or even contribute. And it's not only like basically people can start looking at the code, they can start extending it. So we have built it in a very modular way, or we're building it in a very modular way. So you are welcome to bring your own tokens. We ship from the gates with a double counting resistance voting token, but you could bring your own. And all the modules that you have in there are extendable. So we provide hook points that you can say, hey, I want to intercept the voting mechanism, or I want to intercept the proposal mechanism, and build my own solutions on top of that. Because for whatever reasons, your DAO might need to vote escrow or vesting contract, some custom stuff for legal. And we have you covered there. So it's not like we're only just building a protocol that has some features that you can do. You can really start extend it and make it your own. I'm not 100% sure on time, but we have a short video here, but I'm not sure how to start. Sorry, starting. So this is just basically really from the engine room where our front-end developers just basically showing you a bit around of what we have so far. As said, we have the full wireframes already in place. So if you want to go deeper, you can go to our website and start digging in. But we've already started with like integrating the JavaScript SDK and connecting to Prider and the likes. The best way to actually get started with us is if you go here on our, let's go to the next slide. I think we have it there. Oh, sorry. If you go to our Stellar project Discord, we have basically everything set up. We have full documentation there, and you can dive into all the links and basically everything I said. It's all very transparent because it's open source. I think we're slightly on time, but but we're slightly overhead. But yeah, thanks for your time.
Awesome,
And
that was
happy
great.
to take any questions.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's perfectly fine. We have some questions here in the chat. Matthias asks, in addition to the low-code solution, and with all the different ways of setting up DAOs, like operations-wise, would your solution also provide pre-made vertical templates for orgs that want to jump straight into op with minimal configuration? It's also in the
So the
chat.
basic way we think. Yeah, that's an excellent question I like to talk about a lot. So the way we think about it is that, or the way I like to think about this and I like to explain it, is like in the Web 2 area, we had all these big players like WordPress, Magento, which served of providing a very core functionality for CMS or shops. And then they made it possible to create plugins and a big ecosystem around it, which made them so successful. And the way we think about using Soroban here is that within our core infrastructure, which is like voting, proposal creation, DAO creation, token issuance, and the likes, we offer hook points where you basically can say, hey, I want to associate a specific Soroban smart contract that I'm rolling on my own with my DAO. And then you can basically intercept it. So we will be calling your smart contract from our Soroban core contract. And you can alter your logic there. So we have a bit more documentation on this already on our GitHub. Yeah, but happy to actually onboard people. Everything's very early. We just started. We finished the first deliverable, but it's getting there. We have also created some documentation around it in our first deliverable page, and I will share it in the chat right after. Other questions? The revenue model, that's a good one. Well, it's open source, so it's not like we have what we really want to do here is providing. Are you still hearing me, by the way?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we want to provide core infrastructure here, and the basic part of it is so we don't have our own token or the likes. So the part that this should be is an open source contribution where the ecosystem actually can start using it without having to pay for it. So it's an open source project. It's not revenue driven. Maybe at some point in the future, there's obviously parts of like managing it as a DAO as well. And we had some discussions in the past about making economics around it. But yeah, so far we really want to get Soroban going and help setting things up and providing infrastructure for it. So not yet business model.
Great. Yeah, I mean, that's really excited to hear. And I'm super excited that your team is back as well and building and cool DAO infrastructure. I'm very excited about DAO infrastructure. And I really want to see like, especially use it for Soroban. I'm also seeing why Soroban is really excited for this particular tool. So cool. So I think we're actually on time. There might be another question that you didn't answer just yet in the chat, but take a look. And anyone else, if you have any questions, feel free to ask there or in the project channel that we are presenting right now. Cool. All right. Well, next up is
Everyone.
yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Next up is Pluto Loans B2B. Let me see if I can get folks up to the stage. Right. There should be another person. Let me see. Please, if you're from Pluto Loans, ask to speak. Hi, Anna.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Anke. Well, I'm Ana Rodriguez. I am a part of Pluto's team. And let me just start by saying we are very happy to meet again with you all in this community fund. For those of you who are unfamiliar with us, we're an innovation and development hub. We are based in Argentina, and our mission is to help bring financial freedom to Latin America. And we make it possible through software solutions based on Stellar. We've been working in this community for about 3 years now. And this is the second community fund in which we've participated. In 2022, we joined for the first time in round 10, and we received the community vote of confidence to bring Pluto Loans to life through Stellar support. So what is Pluto Loans? You may ask. Well, Pluto Loans is a self-repaying loan solution based on, of course, Stellar. We offer users the opportunity to invest and access their future yield in the moment they invest. It is a very straightforward process. Users invest their funds into Pluto Loans. We offer them a loan of up to 50% of their deposit, and the loan is automatically repaid over time using the profits generated by their investment. This allows people to spend funds that otherwise they would have had to wait for. So this is a project. Last time we were here, this was all a project in paper, and now we are very happy to say that a year has passed and Pluto Loans has come to life. We have successfully accomplished each one of our goals, and now Pluto Loans is launched and available to public on its beta version. So we're fully working, we're meeting new customers, new people, and you may ask, well, what brings us here if we are fully working? And what we want to tell you that since we launched Pluto Loans, our main goal has been to reach to our crypto and non-crypto community and to make possible for new users to access self-repaying loans. We focus ourselves to develop demo with non-crypto users. We work closely with members of Stellar community, receiving their feedback, and we've had our first round of test users. And these were all very important steps. They left us with a more complete vision of what we need to do, and they put us in the path to face our next 2 challenges, which we will be developing in this community fund. So first of all, we are launching the Pluto Loans business-to-business model. So what is this? Well, we've come to realize there's already a lot of great projects in Stellar for Latin America. These are projects that work with us, that make a very strong community, and that have already existing customers that will be very interested in taking self-repaying loans. And even though we think, well, yeah, we could focus ourselves in bringing new users, we're convinced that the smartest way to go is to team up with this project to strengthen this community and to bring to existing users all of Stellar's benefits. That's why we're launching our business-to-business model. So our first solution, it is very simple, yet we are sure it is effective and secure for both parts. And we are developing a loans software development kit. This will allow Stellar platforms to integrate our product without the need of a heavy full implementation. And this represents two advantages. For users, this enables them to access more benefits of Stellar through a platform they already know and trust. There will be no need to redirect user or to ask them to log in again. They will simply have to select the asset they would like to invest, select an amount, and sign the transaction in the secure way they choose. There will be no need to try new things, but they will still be able to access our loans. And for platforms in Stellar, well, this allows them to offer new services and to commit users to the platforms, as they will be able to perform different operations in the same platform they know. Sorry. We've already been working and sharing and teaming up with other Stellar platforms in Latin America to develop the best way to approach this. We're in fact already developing a first test drive with Anclab, which is a local anchor that allows users to access through local currencies as R, SCOP, or PEN on our site. So this is the first step we're taking. It is a big step for us, and we are very sure that this will allow us to strengthen the Stellar Latin American community. And well, even though this is huge, as I just said, this is not our only step. We are fully aware that if we want to receive a larger flow of users as we expect, we need to make sure that Pluto Loans is as stronger and safe as possible. And that is something that we believe is possible to achieve through Soroban smart contracts. So in our current model, the collateral funds are locked in a vault, which has the users, Pluto itself as co-signers. This guarantees transparency of movements and guarantees security for the users. But it also exposes us to some new challenges. But now, by leveraging Soroban's capabilities, we will be able to develop two things. First of all, close the loan once it has been self-paid without user's intervention. As it stands now, the user has to come to Pluto and reclaim his collateral. Well, something could happen in the middle. Maybe the user is not able to access his loan, and this will leave the funds locked forever. But now, thanks to Soroban, even if the user is not able to access their loan in the moment, we will be able to return him their collateral once the loan has paid itself. And in the second place, this strengthens the collateral we keep. Right now, we keep it in YUSDC. But if YUSDC loses its price or it drops down below an established threshold, Soroban allows us to automatically swap this to a stable coin. In this way, the user can still salvage a percentage of their collateral value. So these are the two improvements we want to develop in our product. Well, these are our very big challenge. I'll be wrapping up here. We're fully convinced that this re-engineer will take us to the next level, but we're also fully convinced that of the relevance Pluto Loans has in a region where loans or financial services such as this are not available for most people. So that would be all. Thank you all for your attention. And I guess we can move up to some questions or concerns you may have.
Amazing, Anna. Well, thank you so much for this great presentation. I'm super excited to see the growth of Pluto Loans. We indeed do have a little bit of time for questions. So Estebloc's asking, it's lending with the deposits as collaterals. Have you thought about price manipulation risks, which is something very common in DeFi?
I'm sorry, my phone I think died. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, yes, and it's also in the chat if you want to take a look. Maybe that's easier.
I'm not finding it.
If we go up a bit, yeah, people have been talking a bit, but it's like the first question was, it's lending with the deposits as collaterals. Have you thought about price manipulation risk?
Yes, the loan functions with the deposit as collateral, and that is exactly why we need to implement Soroban. In this way, what we're thinking is we're going to set up a set of transactions that will automatically be submitted to the network if the price goes below a threshold. I think this was a question for the beginning of the presentation, and that is something that we will try to achieve through Soroban.
Great. All right. Well, it looks like we're on time, and there is some questions here regarding from Matthias Walt in the chat. So, and also from Raheem and Morgan. So, if you want to check those out and answer those in the chat, that will be amazing. Again,
Yeah,
thank you.
This is a extended question, so we will be answering in the chat.
Amazing. All right. Thank you so much, Anna and Kilo.
Thank you all.
It's great to see you, girl, and yeah, definitely keep posted and ask more questions if you want and answer them in the chat. But we are actually ready for our next project, Link Business. All right, Ibuka and Emmanuel and whoever wants to join, let me know who needs to join. Please raise your hand. We are ready for you. All right, Emmanuel, how's it going? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Maybe try to check out your I think it worked yesterday. Is there anyone else who can take over from you in the meantime? We can maybe if you want to try to see if your access to your audio is correctly set up. Sometimes it's in the bottom left of your screen. And sometimes it's if you have access. You can also join by phone, maybe. Is that easier? Also, if anyone else from the Link team is able to take over, feel free to speak. Our first technical difficulty today. All right, what if we yeah, okay, Emmanuel is leaving. He's likely coming. Wait another minute. Yeah. Okay, well, we might oh, all right, that's right, last time. Emmanuel, can you hear me now? We can't hear you. I think we're yeah, why don't we try this? It might have to do with your audio settings. So we're actually going to move on to our next project. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, finally. All right, thank you. Yes. All right.
Yeah. So sorry, guys. Thank you so
No,
much.
all good. Take it away. Take it away.
Sure. Thank you so much, guys, for having us. My name is Everest Emmanuel. I'm representing Link Business. We are basically from previous winners of the SCF round. Really afforded us the opportunity to really build relevant infrastructure, really interact with our own market and really build scalable solutions here on Stellar Network. I'm really glad to be back to get your support to take Link to higher heights. So what is Link doing? Link is building Web3 cross-border payments infrastructure for Africa. Really, okay. I think, okay.
Other one. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah, Link is building Web3 cross-border payments infrastructure for Africa. Really focused on building the relevant infrastructure that will allow us to fix all the problems that I can see from on my screen, from slow settlement times to multiple exchange rates, and all the kind of problems you hear when a cross-border payments company is really trying to solve a problem. And the problem is simple, right? Cross-border payments infrastructure in Africa is broken. Web2 companies on continents don't just have that global scalability, because first, across the continent we have multiple infrastructures, multiple currencies, right? And our infrastructures are not just globally scalable. So at Link, we're really leveraging the inbuilt capabilities of the Stellar network and traditional rails as well to really bridge that infrastructure to fix the problem. Our solution is simple, right? With a focus on three pillars: infrastructure, basically embedding traditional rules and bridging DeFi rules, which we've spent a couple of months really understanding, not just from a product side, but from a compliance and legal side, to really now trying to think on ways that we can bring everything on chain, right? And not just partially on chain, with the huge crypto adoption and the huge crypto usability on the continent, for example, which is really based on payments, and that payment really cross-border payments, right? Where we are basically bringing local African stablecoins on chain and really facilitating more peer-to-peer transactions. The third part is us being really interoperable, right? Really connecting our continent, really connecting our markets to more global payment economies and channels, as well as Web3 ecosystems. And this really formulates what we're building at Link, which is Web3 cross-border payments infrastructure for Africa. So today, the two products we're shipping out: Link Business, which is basically a business solution for both businesses and developers. So you can just think about it as this pay stack or Stripe for Web3, right? That basically allows on and off-ramp providers, cross-border payments platforms, SMEs, and so forth, that really want to build scalable, cross-border payment platforms or payment platforms on the continent, leveraging blockchain to do that, right? And really connecting DeFi and traditional rails live, as well as taking advantage of, the stable coins we're able to issue or assets we're able to issue on chain. And then Wavy, which we're really, really excited about, is a non-custodial decentralized app, which basically allows, allows users to perform smart contract-powered peer-to-peer payments. We're building that on Soroban. Can't wait to have that fully shipped out so the whole community can see. Here basically gives a full rundown on all the things we're deploying on Stellar, from NGNC, which with SCP-24 on and off-ramp capabilities. For a very long time, we've just been talking about how we can open the continent more on the Stellar network, and we feel at the Link team that we needed to build the core infrastructure first, and then now really build this thing out without more on show than really talk, right? And we are 98% done with SEP24 on Stellar already. We're just fixing all the bugs and all the necessary things involved. But on relevant wallets like Lobster and Expo, you will see them really live there already. Later this year, really looking at opening the Ghanaian market so we can power more peer-to-peer transactions, right, live on Stellar. And then for this presentation, what I'll really be showing us would be what we've built with our Bridge API solution for on and off ramps for cross-border payment platforms. Like I mentioned already, we have about 20 plus businesses integrating with it live already. This will really help us boost, not just the total supply of NGNC, which is a Naira stablecoin on Stellar, but also help us, increase the payment capabilities really happening on chain from, traditional providers, as well as Link Business, which is basically a dashboard for stablecoin issuers, cross-border payment providers, etc. And like I already mentioned, Wavy. Over. Okay.
We're actually a bit on time, so maybe go through this one really quick.
Okay.
Or maybe
Okay.
one question, or should we do the questions?
Yeah, sure.
We can play it at the meantime.
Okay.
Great.
All
Oh,
right.
nice to see your face too. Awesome.
Okay.
So while we're playing Link's video, because we're a bit short on time, so please, there's something to watch. We did have a question actually from Raheem. Link, have you thought about the privacy aspect of payments on blockchain? And if so, are you concerned?
Yeah, definitely. We've thought of it, and I think that's one of the solutions we're coming up with Wavy. I feel right. With what we're building at Wavy, really is a D app, right? It really answers the question around privacy. Where I think the video is already playing on its own. Sorry. Really answers the question around privacy, where users really have control around the privacy with payments. But I think really privacy still has to do a lot with context, in the sense with first the market we're building for, right? To an extent, at least, because of the systems that we have in place, we still have to be able to sacrifice a bit of it, so we're able to tackle issues like money laundering and all of that. But with what we're building with Wavy on Soroban, right, it really promotes at least to an extent around privacy. If that answers the question.
Great. Let's see, Matthias, is that a question for, let's see, isn't Polaris being phased out? So I'll mention to that in their roadmap budget. I'm not sure, but we can speak to that.
Sorry?
Oh, Matthias is typing. Give me a minute. I'm actually very excited. Oh, not for, okay, good. Got it. All right, yeah, I think we're good on the questions actually. I'm actually very excited to see, because I know you for a long time, and you know, it's been always such great to see your progress, and now, you know, going again with SCF and Wavy and building like on Soroban itself, it's yeah, it's really exciting. So, you know, keep us posted. And if anyone has any questions in the chat, please ask them and you can answer. And yeah, thank you so much for joining. And I'm glad we got the presentation to work.
Sure. Should I go on with the demo?
Oh, we actually are on time, but maybe if you want, you can put it in the chat or in your project and then link to it. People can see it later.
Sure,
Great.
sure. All right.
So we
thank
are
you.
actually ready for our next. So thanks again, Emmanuel. We are ready for our next project, SoroSwap protocol. All right. So Esteblock, we are ready for you. Let me invite you to the stage. All right. All right. Next. All right. All set. Take it away.
Here, okay. Audio is okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Let me check next slide. No,
Other
so
one.
next slide is that one. Okay. I'm still, what? Okay, great. So welcome to the SoroSwap presentation. SoroSwap is an open source automated market maker for providing liquidity and trading Stellar assets in Soroban. The idea is to build also an SDK and a very easy to use front end. So as I said, it's a decentralized exchange. It's inspired in Uniswap version 2 for the moment, as you can see in that screenshot, and it's fully open source. Being open source is very important, not only to be transparent, but also to provide code examples and to allow other developers to build on top of SoroSwap. For this SCF, the deliverables will be the smart contracts, the front end, which will allow users to interact with the smart contracts through the front end using the Soroban React library. We will support the library as well, and we will provide a lot of documentation for developers. So far, the payer and the factory contract, if you are familiar with Uniswap version 2, you will know what I mean. But which is important to understand is that any user will be able to create a new liquidity pool, a new pair in one transaction through the user interface. The documentation is already in place. You can visit docs.soroswap.finance and check some tutorials on how to use the protocol, the current version of the protocol. On the library, there is a lot of work that has been done. It's currently in its version 4.5.2 this morning, and is compatible with the last Soroban preview. And working with the library, I have been able to support also the Soroban example lab and recently the Soroban client library. This is a demo, so please play. Play video. Okay, sorry. Okay, so it's playing. So this is the current landing page, but it will look as Uniswap because Uniswap is a very familiar user interface. So with this, the user will be able to choose the different tokens, to change the input amount, etc. And in the back, with the Soroban React library, we will be able to interact with the smart contracts. And if the user has balance, it will be able to swap one token with another token. using its favorite wallet. Currently, Soroban React is supporting the Frighten wallet, but it will be able to support more wallets in the future. You can follow the process in GitHub, github.com/soroswap. In the core repository, you will have the factory and the pair contract. You can take a look at the codes. And also on the issues, you can follow along all the process of developing this project. There is also the docs repository, and the docs repository are published in docs.soroswap.finance, where you can find tutorials on how to interact with the current version of the smart contracts. And also there is a documentation on how we're implementing some Uniswap version 2 functionalities as oracles and rent-to-see guards and protocol fees. So thank you very much. This is the team. So the team is me. I am Block. You can reach me on Telegram, Discord, and GitHub like that. I am Esteban. And you, because with SCF, the Soroswap team will be able to be bigger. And if you are interested, please just reach me out. Let's go to the questions.
Amazing. Well,
First
thank you so much for presenting.
question.
Yeah.
I am reading here. There is Morgan asking, are you using the Soroban token interface? Yes. So one of the first tasks and for the proof of intent was to take the liquidity pool contract that was already developed and was already available at the Soroban examples and implement the token interface. So now the pair contracts, they behave as a token and also they behave as a liquidity pool. And with the factory contract can create these new liquidity pool tokens. Looking forward to knowing the sort of swap for Wavy. For Wavy, yes. Let's talk about it. Great work. This might be a bit far-fetched at this moment, but have you given any consideration to security audits down the line? Yes, of course. So it's the project is under development, and at some point, Soroswap will need to pay some audits for sure. Are you planning to have flash loan functionalities? Yes. So the Uniswap version 2 already has flash loans built in the protocol. So any user can so you can swap tokens and you can send the tokens afterwards. I don't know still how we can implement this with Rust and with Soroban, but if we can do it, we will do it.
That's from Unchain actually. So they're actually
Yes.
presenting right after this that they're doing security and audits. So definitely.
Oh, great. Yeah, Francesco. Okay. Yes. Let's talk about audits. They would be very interested on doing this. So yes, there is a comment about the flash loans. Yes, so you can currently do flash loans with Uniswap. The problem is that when you do flash loans with Uniswap, you need to pay the fee twice. So there are other protocols that provide flash loans with lower fees. So maybe in Soroswap, we can implement a lower fee for flash loan. So yeah, that's interesting. Thank you. Other questions? How I am with time? Maybe I went too fast.
Yeah, no, you went great. It's actually, this is perfect because like, especially since we have some more time for questions. I think we have like 1 minute. Raheem was typing, Morgan is typing. Who can type faster? All right, well, Morgan says
Great.
sharp and on time, perfect. And if Raheem has one more question or not, then I will ask it. but
Yeah.
if not,
So if I have some seconds, I will
Yeah.
say that it's very important to continue development of the Sorbonne React library. Please check it out. You can create any decentralized application with React.js with that library. So if you don't know how to do it, reach me, write me on Telegram or on Discord, and I will be happy to help you.
Amazing. Well, that was a great presentation, and thank you so much for asking many questions. People are, really like the idea of a Stellar Quest audit, a competition to find bugs. So, I think people are excited about what you're building, and yeah, look forward to seeing your progress. We're actually
Thank you.
perfectly on time here. So thanks again, Esterblock, for the source swap presentation. Next up is Trilobyte. So Trilobyte team, join the stage.
Oh,
All right. Alexi and Kalajan, you want to get started?
Hey guys, can you guys hear me?
Perfect. All right, get started.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, great. I'm just going to open up the remote. Okay, bear with me for 1 second.
Are you able to find it? It's like the button on the right, I think. Just
Yeah,
click
let me
next.
just test.
Oh, other button. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, there we go. Great. All right, I'll get started then. Well, it was lovely to hear such interesting projects. So I'm Matthias. I'm the co-founder and CFO of Rumpe. And yeah, really excited and grateful to be able to present to you guys our newest project, Trilobyte, which is a cash flow financing protocol built on Soroban, and focused on Latin America and the Caribbean. So with me today on the call are a couple members of our team, except for Lassie, who unfortunately couldn't make it. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions you guys have after the call. And we've got some pretty interesting links there as well, Gitbook and YouTube. A lot more, especially on the demo. It's going to be a little more. So a little bit of background information on the Git problem. So borrowers in Latin America and Caribbean face some big issues in capital locally and externally, primarily due to some inherent problems that countries where the borrowers operate, things like liquidity crunches, corruption, weak currencies, lack of financial infrastructure, things like that. And so a lot of them turn to cash flow financing to raise capital. And cash flow financing in the simplest form is a loan-based financing. The loan. And what was especially interesting for us, and this, especially interesting use case of cash flow finance, was one that uses a payment actor that acts as a source of loan repayment. So this is a third party, and essentially they owe capital to the borrower, and instead of paying the borrower, and then the borrower pay the interest. This is particularly important in countries that are difficult to deal with, because the payment actor is able to operate outside of the jurisdiction the borrower operates in, and to deal to go forward. And yeah, I mean, this kind of financing scheme has been going on for despite its success. The widespread adoption of it is pretty limited, primarily for two reasons. The first one being that it's really difficult to find the financial.
Matthias, maybe if you turn off your video because your audio is cutting out sometimes, maybe that will help.
Oh dear. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? It's still cutting.
Yes. I think it's good.
All right. Where was I? I have to get the remote back. Right. Yeah. So it's difficult. Widespread adoption hasn't really taken place of this kind of financing scheme because it's difficult to find a third-party bank or institution to act as the intermediary, and the costs of administering this type of deal are just really, really high, especially legal costs, KYC, things like that. So essentially, there's this really big wedge that is taken, that's present. There's a real market for loans that isn't met, especially between loan amounts of $100,000 to $20 million, and anything below 100,000. Borrowers are able to rely on the local economy, and everything above $20 million, borrowers are benefit from economies of scale to raise cash externally. And so, quick overview of how the Trilobite protocol is going to work. Just like the collateralized and uncollateralized lending protocols that we find on DeFi today, we'll be connecting investors and borrowers with a smart contract represented here in yellow with our logo. What's interesting here, of course, is the addition of the payment actor, which will be able to redirect the flows of payments that it owes to the borrowers to the investor via the smart contract. Quick note on governance and treasury. So essentially, that's in charge of maintenance and upgrade of the protocol, and that will be done internally for the time being. But in the future, we have plans to incorporate a DAO to really keep it decentralized. And so just finally, before I show you guys our demo, we are deciding to go live with a permissioned vault system. And so what that means is that parties would be using Trilobite solely as the infrastructure that enforces agreements that were made off-chain. So yeah, you only have a small group of lenders and borrowers that are able to participate, that have had a history of working together, as opposed to a permissionless system where you have a lot more freedom of coming and going. And so this is easier to implement, and it also increases the flexibility for the investors and the borrowers to define the behavior of the vault in cases of default or late repayments, things like that. And then, the other reason as well that we to go live with this is we've had lots of interested parties that have come to us, or that we've been speaking to, that have expressed a really strong desire to see a permission vault rather than a permissionless one. So yeah, I mean, that's it from me. Thank you guys for listening. Sorry the video cut out, and here's a quick demo of the platform.
Oh, wow. Feel free to speak over it too.
Yes, so here what we're seeing is the deposit on the vault by the investor.
Yeah, and again, if you guys want a longer video of the actual demo, there's we can provide that to you, just or maybe Lexi, we can put it on the chat in case people are curious. But it's there. We have a longer, more detailed video of our demo.
Yes, and this final part is the borrower that withdraws the loan from the pool. So guys, feel free to ask any questions. I have already answered a couple of them on the chat.
Yeah, you were fast with that one. Saving time, efficiency. Great. Well, I love to see here too, like, Ilya DAO just presented, says we have a protocol for that DAO, and then, you're like, let's discuss it further. These are really the connections that we were looking for also in these project pitches. So I see like
yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, for sure. And I think just to add a little bit more on why on the private vault or the permission vault, essentially, when we were designing this, there were already parties that approached us really interested in trying to use this. And of course, as one of the feedbacks that we had when we submitted the application, there was the big concern about, if we open this up, how are we going to be dealing with default and the protections of investors? So we decided that indeed we would like to support that, but since we already had the interested parties that are essentially waiting for us to finalize the development and of course for Soroban to go live, this allows to try to start with a small set of investors and borrowers that know each other, and they essentially use the Trailable platform as the infrastructure that essentially will enforce the agreements that they have outside. So this will serve essentially as a proof of a concept to us before we try to implement the permissionless vaults. And for that part, we definitely will need a DAO.
Got it. Super interesting. Yeah, keep us updated on how that goes. I'd love to learn more. And there's actually some more questions in the chat, so we are actually on time. So feel free to answer them there. Thank you so much, Triloby, OranPay team for presenting. This is super exciting. Love to see your progress. Next up, we have Onchain. All right, let's see.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see if we can get Onchain. Oh yeah, here we go. Invite to speak. Let's see, Francesco. Is there anyone else on your team that's speaking?
Just me for today, but we have a couple of folks that are here in the audience. Let me start my video as well.
Awesome, we'll take it away.
You guys see me? Nope.
I think it's loading, but you can start and then hopefully maybe it
We'll take a bit. Okay.
goes. Yeah.
Well, hey everybody. Just came back from the Stellar Kinetic event in Argentina. It was good to connect with some of the guys who presented today actually over there at the event. It was definitely productive and fun event there. Francesco here, I run the product team at Onchain. And today I'm presenting to you our smart contract catalog that is part of this proposal for this round of the community fund. So Onchain, we're founded in 2018 from two veterans from Silicon Valley, tech space there. We were a winner of the CNBC Top Startup Award this year, which is a great prize. And also we were the first Web3 startup to ever present on stage at the RSA Innovation Sandbox. RSA is the biggest cybersecurity company conference in the world. So that was a great thing for us. It just happened 2 months ago. And specifically, we're a Web3 risk management firm, right? So we offer products and services for any company that has an exposure to blockchain to protect themselves and their customer from bad actors, right? So that ranges from smart contract audits to anti-money laundering checks, fraud detection, right, and transaction monitoring. And we were a previous winner of one community fund, specifically around our wallet screening and transaction monitoring solutions. So if anybody needs a free solution for their wallet screening and transaction monitoring, this is live and can currently be implemented with 7 lines of code. So pretty simple. Today's presentation is around our smart contract catalog. Right? We identified a couple of problems when it comes to launching a Web3 project. Most of the time, coding a smart contract from scratch is reinventing the wheel. We've seen several customers doing that instead of just using building blocks or standard templates. Smart contract audits are expensive. We know that. We provide audits. We've seen certain audits. We've seen companies spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in audits and still getting hacked. And usually time to market for a Web3 project is unnecessarily long because of this reinventing of the wheel. We came out with a solution for this, which we hope could help in speeding up some of this development and prevent more hacks from happening. So our smart contract catalog is meant to be a comprehensive collection of audited smart contract ideally a plug-and-play solution where people can take these standardized contracts and either like deploy them as is, or modify them as modify them to fit their needs, or simply consume them for educational purposes, right? They're meant to be designed for different use cases, of course, from NFT, DeFi, tokenization, soulbound. Of course, we're still in the early stages of Soroban, but that's kind of like the long-term goal of providing that open source infrastructure, open source templates for people to use. We integrated GPT-4 into this catalog for plain English explanation of functions and vulnerability assessment, right? Most of the time, people are not new to smart contracts, or they don't understand what certain smart contracts is doing. So we are using new technologies like GPT-4 to help on that front. A couple milestones, right? We want to work with the community to create different templates for those use cases that I mentioned before. Ideally, those templates that are in the catalog will be audited, right? Ideally, catting on some of the expenses that startups spend when it comes to launching a Web3 project. And of course, we want to collaborate with the ecosystem if there are specific smart contracts that are needed in the short term. That's a goal, right? So I'm just going to skip through it quickly. I guess here it is. Here's a video demo of our catalog. It's available. I can drop the link later. Clicking on the catalog here, we have templates for different smart contracts. Here we have a crowdfunding contract for Stellar. Allows user to create, donate tokens to a project. Clicking on it, here we can see the code of that smart contract catalog. We can, of course, like copy it and just go and deploy it, or go and customize it, or simply consume it for educational purposes. Here, we can see the functions that that smart contract has in it, with a brief explanation of them. And you also see a GPT-4 integration where we explain in plain English what the contract does and what certain functions do. And also we do a security, look into security vulnerabilities of that contract. And I'm gonna pause here. I know we have a couple of minutes for Q&A. So here I am.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Francesco, to present. We actually have some questions here from Morgan. So Morgan asked, could you give an example of what the GPT-4 integration looks like? What kind of prompts do you expect, and how does the output look like?
Yeah, absolutely, Morgan. Thank you for that. I think I gave a brief explanation there during the demo, but I'd like to recap. There's a plain English explanation of what the contract does in very plain terms and what the certain functions do. And then we ask GPT-4 to find vulnerabilities, potential vulnerabilities in the smart contract. I see your second question also, you're asking if the integration is static. For now it is, right? We plan on kind of making it a little bit more dynamic, but as the first MVP, right now the integration is static, right? And I see Matthias also has a question, comment, Open Zeppelin for Soroban. Sort of, right? You can think of that in a certain way. We want to have these as a resource for the ecosystem to go and find standards for certain use cases. So in a way, yes, right? Sounds similar to Open Zeppelin. And of course, we plan to integrate those standardized templates for smart contract into some of our other products that specifically do smart contract monitoring. So if we have a standard template, we know what potential vulnerabilities, what are certain attack vectors that might be more prone to being, of course, exploited. I see, Matthias, you have another, actually, Gasson. So this is automated code reviews. In a way, of course, we always recommend having a manual audit also done, right? This gives you like a first scanning of potential vulnerabilities, but it, GPT-4 still doesn't catch everything, right? So we always recommend to work with a team of auditors to catch every potential vulnerabilities. And I know we have 1 minute left, so I'm going to go quickly to the other Matthias question. If you allow modification of the code, fork modified, doesn't that change condition to a point where code auditability is no longer valid? Absolutely right? You're absolutely right? And that kind of like adds on top of like my previous comment, right? We, of course, want to provide standards, but not all standards are always kind of like ready to go and deploy, right? Certain teams may have certain needs that are different from the standard. So those can be, those templates can be modified, but of course, modification that will probably require further vulnerability assessment, right? And I know we're time, Anke, so I'm going to pause here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for answering all those questions. Very efficient too. And yeah, like we are on time, but I'm super excited to see this also grow, and definitely like saw a lot of like valuable tools like from the last time, and now adding Soroban. It's just yeah, very excited about it. So definitely share and with the team and answer any questions. I see some people typing too. So thank you so much for presenting. We are up for our next team, Dogstar. So thanks again, On-Chain. Thanks again, Francesco. We have the Dogstar team coming up right now. Oh, your video finally worked. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Nice. Awesome. Bye. All right. Let's see. Get everyone up on the stage. I think we're missing Lucas. Let's see if I can. Lucas, do you want to try again? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I click invite, so you should be able to come on. Sometimes like this is like a weird thing that so I'm inviting you to speak, Lucas, but somehow I mean a biker or the other person, are you able to take over while we I'll try to get Lucas onto the stage. Or is Lucas starting?
I can start, but isn't it Lucas Roman?
Yeah, I mean, Lucas, why don't you try to like oh, Lucas, you here?
Yeah, hi.
Awesome. So everyone's complete, right? Let's get started. I'll can I play your video?
Yeah, whenever you
All right, let's play it. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. I am Jordi from Dogstar, and we are 14 peeps involved with different roles. And the circle of Dogstar started 2 years ago when I explained Marcos and Dave how frustrated I was by not taking part of the crypto revolution. The impotence I was feeling about it because the event was a great opportunity to provide financial education, and I felt it was only a speculation. So Marcos and Dave jumped in and said, why don't we do it? And here we are. Dave as a designer, Marcos as developer, and Lucas as an all-terrain, and I as an educator and gamer. And we all, as fathers, decided to start to build an educative and very funny and good-looking platform, Dogstar. So why the vast majority of people don't access DeFi? One reason is technological barriers, and second reason, a fear of losing money. And why do the people already inside crypto just gamble, leading their investments to loss? Not to mention the number of crypto charlatans on socials. Mainly one reason is the lack of financial education. So can we build a space funny enough, cool enough, attractive enough where users play and learn DeFi? Lucas can tell us.
Yeah, actually, we think we can do it, and Dogstar lands on Stellar to leverage its strengths, which is it is fast, it is cheap, and it is a trustable chain. So Stellar is the perfect network for our DS to go live, right? With Dogstar, you can perform your DeFi operations like swap, provide liquidity, or trade, as well as you can learn DeFi by playing the Dogstar League with no financial risk. We wanted to go beyond the pure DeFi with the Dogstar League. Next waves of newbies can onboard easily while having fun, and expert users can compete and show their skills and potential in DeFi. The Dogstar League is a closed environment in which the users the user is interacting with the real market by using an airdrop token. Stellar Dex and AMM is going to be the playground, right? So the game wallet linked to each player is controlled by Dogstar, which means that we can prevent abuse during the game. At the end of each round of the Dogstar League, users can beat the market. Users that beat the market will be able to keep the profit, which is really cool. Once the run is over, a Sobol token dropped to each player will keep track and acknowledge the user achievements so they can share the Sobol token on socials and finally brag something real. The more users sign and join in, the most incomes we'll get by auctioning the banner spots on the Dogstar League. So, Jordi, how was the beginning of the project? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, around 1 year ago, we tested our idea and the market talked in a self-made marketing campaign made by your team for 15 days. We got to raise $750,000. XLM, sorry. So things started to be serious. Since then, we adjusted the focus and we have been building the Dogstar platform. We also got a partnership with Wavemaker and we are finalists in the Stellar Bootcamp.
Well, yeah, and we have a great opportunity here because 40% of world population plays online, which is around like 3,100 million players, and that gives us a market of $220 billion, right? So we're quite confident that we can build our community and take our piece of cake here. Our business model aims to be sustainable thanks to the sponsors. As in any competition, they will be able to promote their brands through the banners on the Dogstar League. To access these spaces, they will be bid in an auction built through a smart contract in Soroban that we just presented on the Stellar Bootcamp. But is this the right moment for the project? Jordi, can you tell us about that?
We are sure that we are in the right place and in the right time to launch our product. Our roadmap has to coincide with the launch of Soroban Mainnet, not to mention that we are 1 year away from halving.
In summary, let's take a meme mascot, Terry, who will guide our player. Let's dress up the Stellar Network with a super cool platform, and let's introduce a game.
Is that the end?
Hi. I can follow.
Marcos?
Yes, with missions, operations.
Yeah, so I did need to.
Can I
Marcos,
follow?
Sorry,
yes.
yeah, no, you're good.
Okay.
I muted you, unfortunately. Sorry.
Okay. Let's introduce a game with missions, operations, and a cool leaderboard, individual competition, so our users will become DeFi masters while having fun. And attention, will all players as a team be able to defeat the evil EI? Thanks for your time. Regards from Barcelona. Let's meet you all in Madrid for the Meridian. Now, if you have any questions, the team is here to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Esteban.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm super excited to see your progress, and we work together very closely on the bootcamp. So super excited for that. Yeah, apologies. I thought I server muted you because there was some noise before, and then I couldn't hear you. Discord. Oh well, there is actually some good questions here. Let me see. I think this is the
Matthias.
one.
Oh.
Yeah, Morgan actually. How do you guys compare yourself to the Shiba Inu project?
I see the Matthias question. Can you expand a bit the need to create a Solgon token on Dogstar League? And the idea was if everyone influencers that has media access to communities can certify their profits or non-profits real, and this could be a good opportunity for Stellar actually to show a Solgon token, because there is the playground.
The idea behind a Solgon token is not transferable, and you can own the credit of some kind of achievement. We are focusing the use of Solgon token in this side.
And Morgan, or actually, you say how you compare to Shiba. The Shiba phenomenon influenced us. We were in shock when Shiba. I think everyone was when Shiba went to the moon from nothing. No, so inspired us to take the meme power to bring education to the people. No, was let's take this power and let's make up an educational platform. Was the main idea.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And if anyone has any more questions for the Dogstar team, feel free to ask them in chat. Super excited. Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on in the video. So very, very excited to see all the visuals and whatnot. So yeah, thanks again, team. And we are actually ready for our next contestant. Any last words, Lucas, Biker? Oh. All right. Well,
thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. All right. Well, Orbit Lens, I welcome you to the stage. Let's see if I can invite him to speak. All right. Are you ready to present? Can you hear me? I think you have to unmute.
Hello, everyone. Do you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. Take it away.
Great. Hello, my name is Orbit Lens, and you probably heard about me if you are working with Stellar for quite some time, because we built Stellar Expert platform, Albedo Wallet, and some other backbone things on Stellar. Today, I'm here to introduce our new project, Reflector. Reflector is a decentralized price feed oracle network for Stellar DeFi smart contracts to support financial derivatives, lending borrowing protocol, algorithmic stablecoins based on crypto collateral basket, asset management with automatic rebalancing, and many other DeFi use cases. So why are oracles so important, actually? The answer is simple here. A single wrong decision on using a particular price feed provider may result in a complete disaster in the future. Price manipulation is one of the most common vector attacks on DeFi smart contracts. People continue to lose millions of dollars yearly because of price quotation exploits. Almost every single week, we hear about new successful exploits of smart contracts with vulnerabilities. So the rule of thumb, when writing a smart contract, choose price feed for your project wisely. We took a distant approach compared to Oracle protocols that currently exist on other chains. Our system design is better than feeds built on widely utilized request-response model. First of all, we store the price feed data in the contract itself with a fixed time frames. So the data is readily available for all consumer contracts, which effectively allows them to receive the data immediately after the contract request and use the price quotation result directly in the same function. Such a straightforward invocation is optimized for low fees and it reduces the number of contract calls, at the same time providing the efficient ledger capacity utilization. Our system architecture implies that the network is controlled by the multi-sig protected consensus of reputable organizations, which guarantees reliability and regular feed updates. The Oracle contract provides a simple but convenient and comprehensive interface. Recently, SEP 40 ecosystem standard. On top of that, we also offer automatic cross price calculation to provide price reference for any pair of assets tracked by the Oracle. And utility functions widely used TWAP price range approximation. Last but not least, it's free for consumer contracts. No need to pay anything. We hope this way more Soroban projects will be built on safe and reliable infrastructure, which consequently will make Stellar a safer place for users. So if you need a price data source for your smart contracts, check Reflector, free to use ultimate price reference for Stellar DeFi. Designed by Stellar expert team, free for the community. We'll be happy to answer any questions, and of course check our project section on Discord, ask your questions there as well. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Albert Lance, for presenting. That was great. People are really excited about this. Kind of heard a lot about you, says Morgan. Great job on all of your projects. Lou Morgan says, sounds awesome. Morgan says, I would love to see a diagram of the data flow used by this Oracle. So that could be something to add to the submission. Or do you have anything to show now? I can probably...
Not at the moment. We'll definitely prepare some fancy diagram for this purpose, and we'll be happy to share with people in the project updates page, because I think I don't have something to show at this time.
Yeah. Oh, sounds perfect. Yeah, I think like people love diagrams and trying to visualize things. Anyone have any more questions? And so what are some, maybe like in the meantime, I can ask, what are some projects that you think, what type of projects would Reflector work best with as an Oracle?
I think, first of all, it's suited for borrowing contracts for lending protocols because it's directly connected to real-time price calculation and estimation, and without it, it's impossible to effectively determine the collateral size, to work with collateral elimination, to close the deposit, etc. So I think DeFi will benefit from it in the first place.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely connect with some of the projects here once something's ready, if they need to update and see if we can get some feedback in as well. Raheem has a question. So will you use Stellar's native multisig? Do you see a need to go over 20 signers?
Yes, we will use Stellar multisig, and as I underscored in the presentation earlier, we are relying on the small group of reliable nodes. We want to work with Stellar validators in the first place. Those nodes who are actually already earned the reputation on Stellar. We want to work with them to provide price feed for people, because it's impossible to build a completely decentralized price source if you rely on any actor that can join the network and start producing the data. It requires a very complex mechanic of stakes and slashing support, something similar to Chainlink and other protocols. But in our case, I think we'll have much better results going smaller set of reputable nodes, reputable organizations, and I guarantee that you will know these people who will produce the reference data for the Oracle price data source.
Great. Well, thank you so much for explaining that. Matthias also says, I think I've seen Orbit Lens in some Soroban dev meetings. Yes, that's because Orbit Lens is very famous.
Yeah,
Stellar
probably.
very famous, with Stellar experts. So super excited. So great to also meet last time during Meridian. Yeah, I mean, so I think we're on time. If no one has any more questions, but I'm sure we'll see you around, and definitely looking forward to those diagrams in the chat.
Yeah,
All right,
sure.
well, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, well, last but not least, we have Chainlink Oracle's relayer. So let's get, perfect. Let's get the team to the stage. Hi, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi. Yeah, everything is good. Thank you for asking, and hello to everyone.
Perfect. Is there anyone else from your team joining, or and can I start the video?
We can start the video now. Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, I'll play now.
So, hello everyone. I'm Christian from the Chainlink Oracle's Relayer team. Since this month, we are official Chainlink build partner. And first of all, I will have a look with you guys on the architecture, what we have in mind. So on the left side, you see the contracts that are running on Soroban, and on the right side, all this chaining interaction will happen on Phantom or on Polygon. So, and in the middle, we have the relaying service itself. It's a backend service that is relaying data. And the first deliverable takes care about this Chainlink consumer stuff on Phantom. So we have this Chainlink consumer contract. We'll have a deeper look in it right in the second part of this pitch. And this is just requesting a random number request from Chainlink, and on the answer it will emit an event. And this event will then recognize, and some oracles will sign this message, the data, and then proxy it back to the Soroban side. And there the signatures can be checked and verified that the relayer cannot cheat and cannot act malicious. So what you can see here is that the contract is already deployed on the Phantom testnet. It's verified, so the source code is open source. So if you want to have a look at it, feel free to check it out. And we will also show a demo how it's working. So the node backend in this case will perform a write request on this contract. So it's a usual EVM call, processing some information, for example, an external identification parameter, so that the request from Soroban can be identified for the answer and that the correct data can be proxied back. And what you can see here is that this request random number is the most important part of this open source code. It's calling this official Chainlink request randomness function, and is emitting an event that it was requested itself. And also we have implemented this fulfill random words method that is emitting an event with the random data provided by Chainlink, plus some data to identify the original request. So, one important thing is that also this backend node, this relaying service, can be run in a decentralized node way, because each request will be handled in the smart contract itself. It has been fulfilled already or not. So it's not a big problem, or not a problem at all, if multiple backends are running and trying to execute this events. And here we can see now how it actually looks like if you start such a request from the Explorer. So you enter a chain ID, you can enter this external request ID to identify the real DApp who was creating the request. and you can pass a number of words you're looking for to request from chaining itself. So 1 second, then we will see the result. I can answer your question, Morgan, right now. So yeah, exactly. It's a relaying service for smart contracts on Polygon. In this case, for this chaining VRF smart contract. And as we can see here in this Explorer, the request was successful. And now we can also see that the randomness was received from Chainlink. I have highlighted the randomness answer from them. So thank you, everyone. And yeah, looking for questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for presenting. It looks like we have another question coming in here from Morgan. And VRF being verified random number generator?
Correct. VRF, chaining VRF is for chaining verified randomness function. And it's about generating random data, probably for numbers. If you want to, for example, do some drawings for games also, or for NFT drops. And chaining is a blue chip Oracle provider on EVM chains. And so I think it's very helpful if we can make use of their infrastructure. It's a very decentralized one, also for Soroban. And therefore we have this trustless relaying service. I think the latency it really depends on the chaining answer itself, but on Phantom, the chaining response time is quite fast. And the round trip overhead time is about 3 or 4 seconds. So it's mainly about rating some confirmations. And this is kind of the number of trust you want to have because of reorgs and other stuff. So this is also why we switched to Phantom instead of Polygon, because on Phantom, the finality is much faster than on Polygon.
Awesome. Great. And anyone have any more questions? Feel free to ask them in the chat. As you were building, I'll have a question in the meantime. As you're building on Soroban and kind of building this out, like what are some of the feedback or like some of the hurdles that you ran into, and what would you like to see changed for Soroban specifically?
I think the most challenging part will be this signature validation part to make it really work with this EVM stuff together. But I see no big hurdles at all. It's more about getting it done as the next steps.
Awesome. Anyone have any more questions? Feel free to also request to speak. I see we have some. Okay.
About the portability of other use cases. A lot of this can be adapted. So probably the next use case, like for example, the weather API from Chainlink, price feeds, whatever they have. For example, also we can have a look about this Chainlink function stuff. So because you can integrate almost any API into this chaining Oracle service. This is possible, and this is also already on our agenda for the time after this first project.
Awesome. Rahim, you had a question. Do you want to ask it?
Yes. Hey, I had a question about what you said about verifying signatures.
Yes.
So do you mean verifying? Do you mean that on Soroban it would be hard to verify those signatures because Soroban doesn't support them, or something else? Or I'm just curious what you mean, or if you could explain maybe a bit more about that.
It's more about that we have more experience on EVM chains yet, and so it will be for us a new a new to-do to verify signatures on Soroban, but I don't see any big issue at all.
And then I guess a follow-up to that would be, okay, no, I guess you already answered the question.
Okay.
All right. I was
So
gonna
thank you
ask
for a
if
question.
yeah, I was gonna ask if you saw any issues, but then you said you don't see any issues. All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
No, awesome. Great. Did you have any last things that you wanted to mention before we close off?
First of all, congratulations for all the teams that have presented, because I think it was really cool pitches and very interesting to follow all of you. So yeah, have a nice day, have a nice weekend, everyone. And if you have any further questions, feel free to ask us in the project channel.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for presenting. It's super interesting what you're building and kind of hearing your journey going forward and having some engineers here as well. So we are actually finished for the day. We finished perfectly on time. Let me, oh yeah, go on my next slide. So thanks again. So like, yeah, like they said, like make sure to go to the project, to the community fund category in the Stellar Developers Discord and go to projects. There you will find each of these the presenters, like project that have presented today. You can continue the conversation. And Dave Morgan says, like, great job, everyone. Pitches take a lot of time and effort. They do. And this time I had everyone prepare it so they could send it ahead of time too. So it was a little bit extra so that we didn't have any technical difficulties. All right, well, thanks so much. And if you like this and you kind of want to be part of a vibrant community, and you can actually become a verified member in the SDF. Currently, we actually have community vote going on. So you can, for next time, if you want to apply, you can actually be part of influencing the growth of this ecosystem. So definitely go to the SCF handbook to learn more. I'll paste the link here in a sec. There's lots of things that you can do, like voting for projects, like being a mentor in the startup camp, part of the selection panel, etc. And if you want to kind of learn a bit more, the website is here. It's communityfund.stellar.org. communityfund.stellar.org/handbook is the handbook that I was talking about that has all the rules and guidelines and everything SCF. And this Discord is actually the old Discord. I need to update this, but we also have a Medium. Cool. Well, thank you so much. These are some SCF presenters of the last rounds. Thanks to all presenters for presenting their pitches, for everyone watching, and for everyone asking questions and engaging. We will see you next time. All right. Bye.